Graduates have taken years of hard work and accomplishment to reach this milestone. However, I suspect that another component that was crucial to your success was the support of family and friends. If you are a family member or a friend of a graduate today, would you stand, please? Thank you so much. You may be seated. And I'm sure you all appreciate that an event like this can never come off without some meticulous planning behind the scenes. And I would like to thank a number of our staff and student volunteers, particularly Ms. Kim Orlowski, who is, I thought she was here, over here, yes, who meticulously planned this, but I'd also like to ask if you are a staff member or a student volunteer, either stand or wave your hand if you're already standing. Let's thank them too. In 1887, the North Carolina General Assembly passed an act authorizing the establishment of the North Carolina College of Agriculture and Mechanic Arts. This year, we've been celebrating the 125th anniversary of that college, now known as North Carolina State University. In keeping with this celebration, I thought I would tell you about a couple of interesting things in the history of the ECE department. The first course in electrical engineering was taught in the physics department around 1893 or shortly thereafter. By the end of the 1890s, the department became known as the Department of Physics and Electrical Engineering. Professor William Hand Brown, Jr. came as head of the Department of Physics and Electrical Engineering in 1908. He became the first head of the Electrical Engineering Department in 1917 and remained until his retirement in 1944. Some interesting stories were told by his son, Dr. Owens Hand Brown, in a letter that was dated around 1989. So this is from the letter. In 1908, my father came to A&M. At that time, the Department of P&E occupied an office, a laboratory, and a storeroom in the south end of Holiday Hall basement. For a classroom, Dad had to look around the campus to find one not in use. He complained so much to President Hill that finally he was assigned the task of preparing the class program or schedule for the entire college, and for some years spent most of his vacations and Christmas recesses at this task. When completed, the program was displayed on an enormous board on the wall of Holiday Hall. I think there may be a lesson in this story, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. It appears that our open house and senior design day also have roots in the ancient history of the department. Professor Brown's son goes on to describe an interesting department tradition. An annual event in the department was an electrical show with which many local citizens attended. Among the features demonstrated by the students were the telautograph, Geissler tube, an organ consisting of a set of tuned electric bells, cooking over ice by microwaves, and the Tesla coil. Just out of curiosity, how many people know what a Tesla coil is? Okay, great. How many people know what a Geissler tube is? Wow, there are a couple. How many people know what a telautograph is? Wow, I'm impressed. Well, for those of you who don't know, I have one final homework assignment. Without using Google, no, I'm just teasing. From the letter, we also learned that Professor Brown was a pioneer in educational innovation. If you think the New Hunt Library has impressive visualization tools, listen to this. Dad used a homemade device for teaching alternating currents, which are represented graphically by the sine curve. It consisted of a frame of vertical plywood vanes and a number of sine curves of different frequencies cut out of plyboard. With this device, it is possible to add mechanically 3 sine curves. The vanes are allowed to settle onto one of the curves. A second curve is used to draw a chalk line on the vanes. Then they are allowed to settle onto a third curve. Well, from this description, I've not been able to precisely imagine what this machine looks like, but I'm quite sure it must have livened up AC Circuits class. Throughout the last century, NC State has continuously prepared outstanding engineers to contribute to the state, the country, and the world. I hope you feel a kinship with these former graduates. In a real sense, you, along with students in Professor Brown's classes, the faculty on the platform today, and thousands of others are part of the same family. In fact, although this graduation for many of you marks a departure from NC State, it's really just the beginning of a lifelong relationship. It's very important for us to keep in touch because as the NC State ECE department increases in stature, the value of your degree increases. And let's face it, when you're successful, it makes the department look good. It is our hope that closing this positive feedback loop will cause the output to increase rapidly and without bound. This symbiotic relationship is important to both of us. With regard to keeping in touch, I can also attest to the fact that there are few things that faculty members enjoy more than hearing from former students. And with that, I'm happy to conclude our ceremony. Let's hear it one more time for the class of 2013.